Alright, so what we're going to do today is we're going to be working on section 1C, which is using a compass and a straight edge. I will be giving you a packet in class that will have all of these steps outlined, and I will also have a worksheet that you will need to complete. So if you're watching these notes from home, make sure that you ask me when you come back to class for the handouts. Also, you can feel free to go out and get your own compass and straight edge, but I will have a compass and straight edge in class. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or come and see me. First of all, we're going to take a look at copying a line, and the steps are right there for you, so it shouldn't be too difficult to do this. Notice that I'm going to be grabbing my compass. This particular figure is called a compass because if we use it, we can make circles. So we call this tool a compass. The first thing it asks you to do, though, is to use a straight edge. Now, they're going to ask you to use a straight edge. You can use either a ruler or a protractor, anything, even a side of a folder. We don't use a ruler as per se a ruler, so we're not sitting measuring. We have to use a compass, and we have to use something just to draw straight lines. We are not measuring, so make sure that you do it the way that we're doing it on your notes. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line segment, and when I do this, I want to make sure that it is longer than that blue line. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open my compass to the length of the original. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pointy part on the blue point. I'm going to open up my compass so that the pencil part goes on the other blue point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this little arc. Now, when I look at your papers to see if you're doing this, I'm actually going to find a hole in your paper, should we say, where the pointy part of the compass is. And then I'm going to see this little black arc that I just made. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to keep that opening. We're not going to change the opening of the compass. We're going to put the pointy part on the end of the black line, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to arc this like this. And what I've done now is I've created a line segment that's the same size as the blue line segment. If you want to use your ruler to measure that, go right ahead and do that, but you cannot use your ruler to actually measure this and create the line segment. You can only use it as a check. The next construction that we're going to do is bisecting a line segment. And so we're going to look at those steps again. We're going to open the compass more than half the length of the segment. So I'm going to put the pointy part on A. I'm going to open up the compass, and I need to make sure that it's more than halfway, and I'm going to do an arc that goes above and below the line. I'm not going to make a full circle, but you want to make sure that this arc is big enough. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this measure of my compass. I'm going to put the pointy part now on B. I'm going to turn my compass around, and I'm going to make another semicircle. Okay. Notice that there are two X's, one above and one below this line. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take now a straight edge, and I am going to connect those X's. So I'm going to grab my line. I'm going to change the color of this line so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to draw a straight line that connects the top X. It's going to go through AB, and then it's going to go through the X on the bottom. Notice that the purple line now cuts line segment AB in half. You can also technically check with your protractor because this should form a 90-degree angle. You can also check with your ruler to make sure that you cut AB in half. So that is how you bisect a line segment. Again, bisect means cut in half. The next construction that we're going to do is we're going to copy an angle. Now this tends to be the hardest of all the constructions. For some weird reason, students tend to struggle with this. The first thing that we're going to do, it says to, with your straight edge, draw a long line. I tend to draw a line segment, or I should say a ray. So I'm going to draw a ray, not too big, not too small. It just needs to form an angle when we're done. we're going to take our compass and I'm going to open it so that it's comfortable. It's not going to be too big, it's not going to be too small, it's just going to be nice and comfortable. Now if you have trouble with constructions, one of my pieces of advice for you is make sure there's a couple of pieces of paper underneath your compass when you're moving it. And then I tend not to move my compass, rather I move the paper underneath the compass. Sometimes that helps a little bit more when you're creating these constructions. So I'm going to put the pointy part of the compass on the vertex of the blue angle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is comfortable for me, not too big and too small, and I'm going to arc this. And when I arc it, I want to make sure that I go through the top ray on the angle and the bottom ray of the angle. Now I'm going to keep this measure and I'm going to bring the pointy part and put it on the ray at the start of the ray. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to arc it. And I don't want a full circle, but I want enough so that I know I'm going to be able to make an angle. This next part is where students struggle the most. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to put it where the red arc and the angle intersect. And I'm going to change the size of this so that I can measure how large that angle is. And you'll notice I'm just trying to make it so that this compass, the pointy part is down at the bottom where the two intersect, and then that red pen that I have, I'm going to make sure that that goes where the other two intersect. I'm going to change my color so you can see it a little bit better, and I'm going to arc this right here. Now this is one of the things that I really take a look at with constructions. I take a look at the red arc, but this green arc is really, really important. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this compass over here. I'm going to put the pointy part where the black and the red intersect, and I'm going to make kind of a green arc here. Notice how I am modeling what I did on the blue angle. Once I have that green arc, I'm going to take my compass off and I am going to make a ray, and it's going to connect the point of the ray and it is going to go through the green and red intersection. And again, you can use your protractor to see if the angle measure is the same if you'd like, but you cannot use the protractor to actually make the angle. You can only use your compass and a straight edge. The last construction that we're going to do is bisecting this angle. What you're going to do is you're going to take a compass, you're going to open it up, oops, you're going to open it up so that it's comfortable, not too big and too small, and you're going to put the pointy part on the vertex of the angle. And then what you're going to do is we're going to make an arc, a nice smooth arc, again not too big, not too small. Okay? The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take the pointy part of the compass and I'm going to put it on the intersection of the blue and green line. And I like to extend that just a little bit more just to make sure that I'm going to get the construction that I want. I'm going to change the color of my pen so you can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to do a little arc. Notice that I'm doing it inside this angle, not on the other side. I'm only doing it on the inside. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my compass. I'm going to put this pointy part now on the other intersection here. And I'm going to make an arc. And you'll notice that I'll get an X. If your compass is not open enough to bisect the line segment or the angle, you will not get an X. It will not come together. Now the last thing that we're going to do, I'm going to make it a ray. I'm going to start right here on my angle where the vertex is, and I'm going to draw a ray that goes through that red X. What this does is it cuts this or bisects that angle in half. Again, make sure that if you have questions, please feel free to email me or come in and I'll be happy to take a look at it with you.